graders. Today our lesson is on common factors. We are starting chapter 9, and so we'll be doing lesson 9-1, and if you want to follow along as a resource in your book, we are on page 373. So as I stated, our main topic today, our main idea is that we're going to identify common factors of a set of whole numbers. All right, so we're going to talk about, first of all, what is a factor, and then we're going to talk about common factors and greatest common factors, which we're going to abbreviate as GCF. They took the first letter of each of these words, all right, the greatest common factor, and that is called the GCF. So if I refer to the GCF, you know we're talking about the greatest common factor. All right, so before we start this first problem, let's talk about what exactly are factors. Factors are numbers you multiply together to get that number, all right? And then if we're looking for the common factors, well, when you have something in common with somebody else, you have something similar to them or something that is the same as them. Maybe you both like to play volleyball. Maybe you both like chocolate ice cream, but it's something that you have in common with them. Well, when we're talking about numbers, all right, we are talking about what factors do both of these numbers have that are the same. Those are what we're going to call our common factors. So our two numbers are 12 and 18. I'm going to write them here like this. The first number is 12 and the second number is 18. All right, so I always think it's a good idea, just so we make sure we don't miss any numbers, we're always going to start with the number 1. Okay, so is 1 a factor of 12? Yes, it is. All right, and we multiply it by itself. All right, 1 times 12 equals 12. Now I'm going to go to 2. 12 and 18 are both even numbers, so I know that 2 is going to go into both of those. All right, I can take 2 and multiply it by 6, and that equals 12. Then I'm going to go to the number 3. All right, remember I started with 1, then I went to 2, now I'm going to go to 3 because I know 3 goes into 12 and it goes in there 4 times. Now, all right, we can stop and we know we're done because there are no numbers in between the 3 on this side and the 4 on this side, all right, that we could multiply to get 12. There are no whole numbers between 3 and 4, so we know we are done. All right, so the factors of 12 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. Now we're going to do the same thing with 18. I'm going to always start with 1, and I know multiplied by itself, 1 times 18 will equal 18. Now, 18 is an even number, so I know 2 is going to go in there, and I know the math fact of 2 times 9 equals 18. Now I'm going to say to myself, does 3 go into 18? Yes, it does. I know 3 goes in there 6 times. All right, 3 times 6 is 18. Now, there's only 2 numbers we can try, and those are the 2 numbers that fall between 3 and 6. So I can say to myself, does 4 go into 18? No, it doesn't. I can't multiply 4 by anything to get 18. And the other number is 5, and I also know that 5 does not go into 18. So then I know I am done. There's no other numbers I can try. So the factors of 18 are 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, and 18. Now, the last step is to find the common factors, and again, that's what they have that's the same. We have a 1 here and a 1 here. We have a 2 here and a 2 here. We have a 3 here and a 3 here, and we have a 6 here, and we have a 6 here. There's a 4 here, but there's no 4 over there. There's a 12 here, but no 12 over there. There's a 9 here, but no 9 over here, and there's an 18 here, but no 18 over here. So the common factors of these two then would be listed out as 1, 2, 3, and 6. All right, those are the ones they have that are the same. All right, so very quickly we'll run through and see what the board says. It says list all the factors of each. Okay, so these are the same as what we listed, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. The factors of 18 are 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, and 18. And the common ones are the ones that they have the same. They highlighted theirs just like we did. They got 1, 2, 3, and 6 for common factors. Excellent. All right, we're going to try another problem. Our two numbers now are 15 and 21. So I'm going to set this up the same way I set up the last two numbers, and I'm going to start with 1. All right, I know 1 times 15 equals 15. Now I'm going to try the number 2. Well, 15 is odd. 2 does not go into odd numbers, so I know that that's not going to be a factor. So then I'm going to try 3, and I know 3 times 5 equals 15. All right, those are both factors of 15. Now, there's only one other number we can try, and it's the number that is in between these two numbers. 4 is in between 3 and 5, and I know 4 is not a factor of 15. There's nothing I can multiply it by to get 15, so we're done. 1, 3, 5, and 15 are factors of 15. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to start with 1. I'm going to multiply it by 21. Again, 2 does not go into 21 because it's an odd number. Then I'm going to go to 3, and I know 3 times 7 equals 21. All right, now there's only 4, 5, and 6, the numbers that come between these two that we can try. Well, 4, there's nothing I can multiply 4 by to get 21. 5 does not go into 21, and the number 6 does not. All right, there's nothing I can multiply that by. So those are the factors of 21, and now we simply find the ones that they have in common with each other. They both have a 1, they both have a 3. There's a 5 here, but not there. There's a 15 here, but not there. There's a 7 there, but not here. And there's a 21 there, but not here. All right, so simply 1 and 3 are common factors. So I'm going to say letter A is the correct answer. Now, we can do this when we have more than 2 numbers. All right, so we can list out the factors for 8, the factors for 14, and the factors for 21. All right, if I quickly go through this, I know 1 times 8 is 8. 2 goes in there because it's even, 2 times 4, and then the only other number we can try is 3, all right, and 3 does not go into 8. I'm going to start here and say 1 times 14 is 14. I know it's even, so 2 is going to go in there. 2 times 7 is 14. Now I can try the numbers in between 2 and 7. I know 3 does not go into 14. Then I think about 4, that does not go in there. 5 does not go into 14, and 6 does not go into 14. So I am done. All right, and then we just did the factors of 21. We said it was 1 times 21. 2 doesn't go in there because it's not even, and so then we went to 3, and we said the factors were 3 times 7. All right, so now, if it's going to be a common factor of 3 numbers, that means it has to be in all of them. It can't just be in 2 of them. Like if you look, for example, like this one has a 2 and this one has a 2, but this one does not, so 2 is not a common factor. It has to be in all of them. All right, so I see a 1 here, a 1 here, and a 1 here, and that, my friends, is it. All right, we talked about the 2 already, but it's not over there. This is the only one I see a 4 in or an 8 in. We have a 7 here and a 7 over there, but not in here. So in this example, my friends, our only common factor of these 3 numbers is the number 1, and that's it. So they've listed out the factors of 8, 14, and 21, and as we just stated, the only common factor they have is the number 1. All right, they want us to find the common factors of 6 and 15 and 23. All right, and if we go quickly through these, we know that the factors of 6 are 1 times 6. It's even, so 2 goes in there, it'd be 2 times 3. There's no whole numbers between 2 and 3, so we're done. We did the factors of 15 a couple minutes ago. We said it was 1 times 15 and 3 times 5. And 23 is what we call a prime number. All right, the only factors it has are 1 and itself. All right, so it has no other factors. All right, there's no other whole numbers we could multiply together to get 23. So once again, you can see that the only common factor these 3 numbers have is the number 1, which would be letter D. Now, we have something called the greatest common factor. At the beginning, all right, I underlined the G, the C, and the F, all right, and that is abbreviated like this, the GCF, and that stands for the greatest common factor. So what we're going to do in this problem is we're going to list out the numbers. We've got the number 12, we've got the number 16, and we have the number 18. All right, so we're gonna list out the factors. All right, this is even, so I know 2 goes in there. I know 3 times 4. Now we know we're done because we have a 3 on this side and a 4 on this side. There's no numbers in between there. Here we've got 1 times 16. It's even, so we know 2 is gonna go in there. The next number I would try would be 3, but I know 3 doesn't go into 16, so I'm gonna try 4, and I know that does go in there. It's 4 times 4. And now I know we're done also because we have a 4 on both sides. No other numbers go in there. 1 times 18, it's even, so I'm gonna go with 2 times 9. Next I'll go to 3. 3 goes in there 6 times, and then the only other 2 numbers we could try would be 4 and 5. 4 does not go into 18, and 5 does not go into 18. All right, now, when you think of the word greatest, greatest means the largest, the biggest. All right, and so what we're trying to do is we're trying to find the one factor that they all 3 have that is the largest number, the greatest number. That's their greatest common factor. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna quickly go through and I'm gonna circle the common factors. They all have a 1, they all have a 2, and I think that is it. All right, you know, here we've got a 4 and 4 here, but that one doesn't have a 4. All right, here we have a 6, over there we have a 6, but that one doesn't have a 6. So our 2 common factors, all right, are 1 and 2, and then the greatest of those would be 2. 2 is bigger than 1, so the greatest common factor is going to be 2. Okay? All right, very quickly I will go through and show you their work. All right, they listed out all the factors just like we did. They highlighted the 1 and the 2 because those are the ones they have in common. And then the greatest of those is 2. So the GCF, the greatest common factor in this problem, is 2. All right, we're gonna do it again. Now, if you look at these numbers, I am noticing something about these numbers, and that is that they all end in a 5. Well, what do we know about numbers like that? If they all end in a 5, that means they're all divisible by 5. That means they're all gonna have 5 as a factor. Well, 5 is a prime number. Its only factors are 1 times 5, and that's it. All right, 15, we've talked about this number a couple of times. That also has 5 as a factor. And then we know 25 does also, besides 1 times 25, all right, it also has 5 times 5, and so that is going to be a common factor also. So they all have 1s, all right, they all have 5s, all right, and so then therefore, when they're asking us for the greatest common factor, we pick the larger of those 2 numbers, which would be 5, all right, letter D. But kind of noticing, all right, like for this one, like we know its only factors are 1 times 5, and then you can say to yourself, well, is that a factor of 15? Yes. Is that a factor of 25? Yes. Therefore, we automatically know 5 is the greatest common factor. All right, and I think, my friends, that's where we're gonna stop today. And in our next lesson, I talked a little bit about the word prime, and another word that goes with it is composite, and we're gonna discuss that in our next lesson, lesson 9-2. Thank you.